Hi, you guys. So I just watched a video by Coach Shawn on YouTube, and it was entitled Women Want to Pursue Men Now. And it's crazy because she was showing several clips of, well, this woman was talking about, how she went and picked up her date. And then she also showed this guy who was saying he wanted the woman to come pick him up. And it just really shows how the roles have reversed. And she was talking about how women struggle so hard to be independent now, and that's something that I have spoken to you guys as well, as far as being somebody with a disability, but also as a woman, we deal with that, wanting to be independent. And I was just sitting thinking about, for me, when God started showing me that that was an issue. So at my job, I worked for almost 8 years. Toward the end of it, a guy came there, and I had worked with guys before, blah blah blah, doing the same normal. And so this guy was different. He was really cool, him and his wife. But being a woman, he wouldn't let me open the door. And I remember the first time I experienced that, because, like I said, we're so used to having to do everything ourselves. Like I said, as being a woman and being a person with a disability, I've had to struggle with being able to do things for myself. And so the first time I got in trouble for opening the door for myself, it was so weird, because now that sitting here thinking about it, I don't even remember seeing that in my family, where the women wouldn't open the door for themselves, wouldn't pay for their own food, wouldn't walk on the outside. Like, he would not let me walk on the outside. He would not let me pay for my own food. And like, anytime I would go near the door and he was with me, if I touched that door, I got in trouble. And it was definitely different for me, because you always hear about chivalry, but like I said, I grew up in the South, so that was in California the first time I ever experienced that. I don't remember a guy even doing that for me back in Georgia. And so I've, experienced it here as well. So that's why I know God prepares us for those things. But when it's so ingrained for you to do it yourself, it's hard. And I know that's what it is. It's hard for us to relinquish that independence and realize that we are not meant to be totally independent. We are meant to be independent, but we're here to be a community, a helper one to another. And as women, we've had to go through so much. It's made us take on more of that masculine role, and now you're seeing the male take on more of the feminine role, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And because a lot of us didn't truly see that, when we were growing up, whether you grew up in a one parent home, it might have just been your mom, or even like with your grandparents. Like, I can think of some things where my granddad would do, like, he always did the outside stuff, and would have us kids help. My grandma was always the one that cooked. So yeah, I did see that kind of stuff. And like, sometimes my grandpa would cook, but most of the time it was my grandmother. So yeah, I did see that. But as far as like open the door and buying the food when you go out to eat, or walking on the outside of the street, I didn't see that. But the thing I do, as I sit here and think about it, I do know, from what I've seen with the women and the men in my family, I always knew that the male was the provider. But as far as like a lot of these other things, we didn't see it. At least I don't recall seeing it. But now it's like, I think because we didn't see it as much, and those of us who have kids my age and younger, it's not even being instilled at all. So it's like what was before is being forgotten, it's been pushed to the side. And it's like crazy because I remember I always hate that I didn't get a chance to write down those stories that my great grandma and my grandpa would tell us, because only those of us that actually grew up with them will remember them. And if we can't, remember those details, then all of those things will be gone. And then it's like the newer generation is just having to learn everything. Everything is not there. Like the family structure is just so distorted now, and they don't have that. So that watching that video today just really reiterated that for me. Like I said, I told you guys I've been dealing with, God telling me that was prideful, with me dealing with that. So just watching that video again just reiterated for me that not only as a person with a disability who's dealing with that prideful issue, but there's also many women who are dealing with that type of pride as well, because we've been put in situations where we've had to do it. And so when you find a man who's doing what he's supposed to do, it's hard to relinquish that. So I just hope that helps somebody today. It's just something, after I've seen that, I just had to talk about it. And it's really sad to me. It's like, just looking back at those things that like I say, I just turned 40 this year, and I think that was like, I met him, I was like 38. So like I said, I I had never, experienced that. I wasn't used to having someone open the door for me, or not letting me buy my own food, or telling me I can't walk on the outside, so it was definitely a readjustment and a realignment for me as well, like I said. And then, as far as me with my vision issue, falling down and having to accept help, that was something big for me as well. So it's the same thing for women, when something happens and we have to reach out and ask for someone for help. It's hard to do because we've been forced to be so independent, so yeah, I just hope that helps somebody today. And if you have anything that you like to add to it, just let me know. So you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.